The air in Dhaka's National Stadium on June 10, 2025, was thick with anticipation, but it ended in profound disappointment for the home supporters. Bangladesh faced Singapore in a crucial AFC Asian Cup qualifier, a match that ultimately slipped through their fingers with a 2-1 defeat. The loss itself was a bitter pill to swallow for the passionate fans who had filled the stands, hoping to witness a victory that would bolster their team's campaign. Instead, they watched as their national team struggled to find its rhythm, eventually succumbing to a determined Singaporean side, leaving the stadium shrouded in a heavy silence that spoke volumes of the collective heartbreak. Making the defeat even more painful was a moment of intense controversy that unfolded in the dying minutes of the match. In the 93rd minute, with Bangladesh desperately pushing for an equaliser, forward Faisal Ahmed Fahim was brought down inside the penalty area. The home crowd and players erupted, expecting the referee to point to the spot for what seemed like a clear penalty. A successful conversion could have salvaged a draw from the jaws of defeat. However, the referee waved away the appeals, a decision that was met with disbelief and fury, effectively sealing Bangladesh's fate and igniting a firestorm of criticism over the officiating. The final whistle didn't just signal the end of the game, it marked the beginning of a much larger crisis for the national team. While the referee's decision was a focal point of anger, the frustration quickly shifted towards the team's leadership, particularly head coach Javier Cabrera. The performance on the pitch was seen as disjointed and lacking a clear strategy, and the loss was viewed not as an isolated incident but as a symptom of a deeper problem. The Bangladesh Football Federation, or BFF, has since announced it is considering lodging a formal complaint with the Asian Football Confederation over the refereeing. But for many fans, this action does little to address the core issues plaguing the team's management. This single match has become a flashpoint, crystallizing years of simmering discontent among the nation's football followers. The defeat to Singapore was more than just a negative result. It was perceived as a public exhibition of the team's stagnation under its current leadership. The dream of qualifying for the Asian Cup felt more distant than ever, and the supporters' patience had finally run out. The immediate aftermath of the game saw the beginning of a widespread public outcry, one that would soon sweep across social media and demand significant, immediate changes from the top down, starting with the man in charge of the team. In the hours and days following the loss, social media platforms became the primary battleground for disgruntled fans. A powerful and unified message began to circulate with incredible speed across Facebook, Twitter, and other online forums. The hashtag and slogan "To save Bangladesh football, Cabrera must go" went viral, shared by thousands of supporters who felt their voices were not being heard through official channels. This digital movement was not just a fleeting moment of anger. It was a sustained campaign, a collective demand for accountability that showed the depth of the public's frustration with the team's direction under coach Javier Cabrera's tenure. The criticism was not limited to the head coach alone. Team manager Amin Khan also found himself at the center of the storm, with many fans accusing him of wielding undue influence over team affairs. A photograph that circulated widely online appeared to show Khan communicating directly with the fourth official about substitutions, a duty typically reserved for the head coach. This image fueled allegations of a syndicate controlling the national team, where decisions were made behind the scenes, leaving Cabrera as a passive figure on the sidelines. The perception grew that tactical choices were being dictated by individuals other than the one officially tasked with leading the team. This idea of a controlling syndicate has taken deep root in the minds of the supporters. Fans and critics believe that this group, allegedly led by Cabrera and Khan, has fostered a culture of favoritism in player selection. They argue that players are not chosen based on their current form, skill, or fitness, but rather on their connections or loyalty to the management. This belief has led to a profound sense of injustice, as deserving players are perceived to be overlooked in favor of others who fit a predetermined agenda. The team's poor performances are seen as a direct consequence of this flawed and biased selection process. The online outrage represents a significant shift in the relationship between the fans and the Football Federation. It is a clear signal that the supporters are no longer willing to passively accept mediocrity. They are demanding transparency, meritocracy, and a professional approach to managing the national team. The viral campaigns and endless comment threads are a testament to their passion for the sport and their desperate desire to see Bangladesh football thrive. The anger directed at Cabrera and Khan is a call to dismantle a system that they believe is holding the national team back from reaching its true potential and restoring pride to the nation. The on-field strategy employed against Singapore became a major point of contention for fans and pundits alike, who described the tactical approach as bizarre and strategy-less. One of the most glaring examples was the deployment of Rakib Hossain. Known for his speed and skill as a natural winger, Rakib was inexplicably played as a central striker, a position where his key strengths were largely nullified. This decision left many observers baffled, as it seemed to ignore the player's proven abilities and forced him into a role where he was visibly uncomfortable and ineffective, weakening the team's attacking structure from the outset. Further fueling the criticism was the baffling underutilization of Amin, a forward who has recently been one of the team's most effective players. Instead of being on the pitch from the start, he was left on the bench for a significant portion of the crucial match. Many fans argued that Amin would have been perfectly suited for a false nine role, which could have created space and opportunities against a disciplined Singaporean defence. His absence from the starting lineup was seen as a major tactical error, depriving the team of one of its most potent attacking threats when it needed him the most. The substitutions made during the match also drew heavy fire for appearing pre-scripted, rather than responsive to the flow of the game. Midfielder Famidul Hakwe, for instance, was taken off at exactly the 60-minute mark, a change that felt rigid and predetermined, regardless of his performance on the field at that moment. Similarly, the positional shift of Hamza Choudhury, who had been effective in a forward role against Bhutan in a previous match, was another point of confusion. He was moved back into a defensive position against Singapore, a decision that disrupted the team's continuity and seemed to lack a clear tactical justification. When questioned about these decisions in the post-match press conference, Coach Cabrera's responses only added to the frustration. He offered vague and evasive answers, such as, "I didn't notice," or "I'm not sure, maybe I didn't see it." For an international coach, this apparent lack of awareness and accountability was deemed completely unacceptable. It reinforced the belief that he was either not in full control of the team's strategy, or was unwilling to take responsibility for its failures. His non-answers were seen as a sign of a coach detached from the reality of the game, further eroding any remaining confidence in his leadership. The overwhelming sentiment among the Bangladeshi football community is clear. A change in leadership is not just desired, it is essential for the team to move forward. The fans are demanding the immediate resignation or dismissal of coach Javier Cabrera. They believe his tenure has been marked by a lack of progress, questionable tactical decisions, and a failure to build a cohesive and competitive team. The loss to Singapore was simply the final straw, confirming their fears that the national team is regressing under his management. The call for his exit is rooted in a deep-seated belief that a new vision and a new voice are needed to inspire the players. This demand for change extends beyond the coach to the entire management structure. The allegations of a syndicate and the perceived overreach of team manager Amir Khan have created a toxic atmosphere of mistrust. Fans believe that for any meaningful improvement to occur, the system of player selection must be overhauled to ensure it is based solely on merit. They want a transparent process where the best players are chosen to represent the country, free from any external influences or favoritism. Restoring integrity to the selection process is seen as a fundamental step towards rebuilding a team that the nation can be proud of. The urgency for these changes is underscored by the team's upcoming fixtures. Bangladesh is set to face Hong Kong at home on October 9, 2025, another crucial qualifier. Supporters fear that if the current leadership remains in place, the team will continue on its downward trajectory, jeopardizing any chance of a respectable finish in the group. They argue that waiting until Cabrera's contract expires in April 2026 is not an option, as it would mean wasting more valuable time and opportunities. The financial penalty associated with an early termination is seen as a small price to pay for the long-term health and success of the national football program. Ultimately, what the fans want is a return to basics. A team led by a competent and accountable coach, selected on the basis of skill, and playing with a clear identity and passion. They are yearning for a leadership that can unlock the potential of Bangladeshi players and build a team capable of competing on the international stage. The current crisis is a powerful message to the Bangladesh Football Federation that the status quo is no longer acceptable. The future of Bangladesh football now hinges on whether the officials will heed this passionate call for a new beginning and take the decisive action their supporters are demanding.